Hi there, it is time for our math lesson, grade 2. Today's math lesson is about number and number relationships. And we're going to be using our Bellwork page 23 and our daily math page, week 15. That is the Tuesday section. So have those pages ready and I'm going to help you through that. As we go, I will teach you parts of the number relationships. That is the next steps for our learning in math. I'm going to share my screen with you and we can get started. All right. To remind you that our Bellwork pages are a blend, a mixture between language and math activities. Today's Bellwork page, page 23, I have highlighted my page blue on the sections that are about math lessons or math practice. There's just one little section at the top of the page or near the top where it has the word for a number. You need to record and print in the space below that number word another way to show the same number. You could use tally marks, counters, 10 frame, however you feel. Or maybe you want to use sticks and dots, sticks for tens and dots for the ones to model the number that is there. Then we're going to scoot down to the bottom of the page and you'll see that there is a tally chart here that has a title, Favorite Kind of Apple. Favorite kind of apple. So these are the results of a survey. The people in this survey who voted were asked the question, what is your favorite kind of apple from these three choices? Red, yellow, or green? Now you need to read these sentences to answer questions about this tally chart. Today I want to go through that with you so that I can help you with the lesson. Two students come to class late. They vote for yellow as their favorite kind of apple. So how does that change the chart? Again, they vote for yellow as their favorite kind of apple. So their vote would go under yellow, but how many students came late and voted for yellow? 2, right. So how does that change the chart? You need to use words in your sentence to answer this question. So you're going to write a sentence with words to answer this. First step, you need to add the two tally charts to the yellow section. How does that change the chart? In your sentence, you need to use the word like, equal, greater, greatest, or least. You could also use the word lesser than. Because in your sentence, you are comparing the number of votes for each color kind of apple. For example, if adding 2 tally charts under yellow makes it so that it now has more votes than red, which it doesn't. But if that was the case, then you would say yellow now has the greatest number of votes. Do you get it? So you need to use the words like greater. Do you remember when I did this in class and it changed the words sideways? Let's see if it does that too. Use the word greater. Or greatest. because you're comparing. You might use the word equal. Oops. Or less, or least. Those are some choices you might want to use. If you need to use these words, you might want to pause this video and rewind it. Let's see what happens. If it turns it sideways, I'm just going to delete it entirely. All right, let's see. Oh, it stayed there. Hooray. All right, now let's move on to the next activity. Oh, sorry. First, there's one more sentence. Add your vote to the graph. So now ask yourself this question. What is your favorite kind of apple? Is it red, yellow, or green? Maybe you don't like apples at all. Hope you do. You need to still vote. Which one do you like the most? Your favorite kind of these three choices. Add your tally. Now, how has it changed? How has it changed now with your votes there? Now let's read the next sentence or next part. You need to read the sentences and answer the question. Again, I want to read these ones with you to remind you about something that we learned in class. I sent 6 letters and 4 postcards. How many more letters than postcards did I send? Notice I said part of that question sentence with more feeling than others. I said some of the words with more feeling. That's because when you read how many more and then the word than, it tells you it's a comparison. When you're comparing two numbers, you should be thinking of subtraction. So you need to print a subtraction sentence or draw counters and cross some of those counters off. And you also need to include your sentence. All right, I'm just going to go quickly through the last two so we can get to the next page and activity. You need to fill in the bubble that completes this equation. That is a subtraction equation. And same thing for the one on the bottom. Again, it's subtraction. Let's move on to our daily 5 activity now. It's number sense and operations because we're practicing our number skills today. The lesson is about number. All right. It says to draw a model for 79, so the number 79, using sticks for showing tens, dots for showing ones. So in the number 79, how many tens are there? Draw those in the space below. How many ones are there in the number 79? Draw that many dots. And please draw your dots in a 10 frame array. So that means 5 across. If you need more, then spill into the second row. All right, number 2. Circle the value of the underlined digit. For this part, I want you to take out your pencil. Go ahead to pause the video now if you need to go and run and get a pencil. Once you have your pencil, you need to draw a line to separate these two parts, A and B. And I would also like you to draw a line to go down between the start numbers and their choices. This helps you to really see what they're asking you to do. It will help me to explain it too. All right, then we're ready to go on to the next part of what they're asking us to do. Circle the value of the underlined digit. What is this number? Do you see that part of the number is underlined? What part is underlined? Is it a 10 or a 1? If it's a 10, then you need to circle 70. Do you see that it has the 0 at the end? If it's a 1, then you need to circle just the 7. Do you understand? I hope so. If you don't, please connect with me and I'll help you explain it a little bit more. Section B. What is this number? Do you see that part of it is underlined? The part that is underlined, is it a 10 or a 1? Is it in the tens place or in the ones place? If it's in the tens place, then you need to circle 30. If it's in the ones place, then you need to circle 3. Let's go on to number 3 then. Is the number odd or even? In order to tell, they ask you to count by 2s to find out. That's because if it is an even number and you start by 2 and count on by 2s and land on the number 14, then it is an even number. But if you start at 2 and count on by 2 and don't land on number 14, then it's an odd number. Even numbers are those numbers where if you have that many counters and you pair them up in groups of 2, you won't have any left over. And an odd number is if you have a number of counters for that odd number and you pair those counters up in groups of 2, you will have 1 left over. Odd. Number 4, what is the value of these coins? Look on each coin, it marks what the value is, how many cents each coin has. Add those numbers up. You can use your 100 chart that you were given last week to help you add all those numbers up and record your answer here. Still would like to have some more practice? No problem. On Google Classroom today, there are some jump math page numbers that you can jump onto and complete those pages for extra practice today. Do you have to do those jump math pages? No. But if you have time and you would like to have some more practice, that's what they're there for. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Good work so far.